Welcome everyone. My name is Juice.
And I'm Antoine Miller.
It is glad to see y'all again. Last time we talked about damn, I forgot that fast. Last conversation we talked about damn, I really did forget, man. Can you
Back
spill it
in the day,
in?
man. Back in the day and how things
Oh,
were in the world.
so back in the day, like, we talk about how things was back in the day when it comes to dating and what's the man role and all that stuff like that. And I want to come back to that. I had a couple of conversations with some people and stuff like that. And when I was growing up, um, I never was taught, hey, you have to be the man of the house and certain roles you got to play and stuff like that. Man, all I was told to keep all your eggs in one basket, and the other thing is just find somebody who like you for you, who love you for you. You know what I'm saying? I never thought about the whole uh pay for everything. You take care of everything. That's not how I was brought up, and I had an alpha mother, and my mother was definitely an alpha lady and stuff like that. So, but in today's world, well, back in the days, it was told to a lot of ladies that focus on your education because the men gonna come. Eventually, they're gonna come. And I wonder, the women that focus on their education, I'm all for it. But now that you have your degrees and you well established and stuff like that, and based off the world today, or based off how the internet is going right now, a lot of people are hurting to have or to find a significant other. And I wonder is because not because you have an education. I don't think it's that. I think because the standard of what you looking for compared to just talk to somebody just because how they are, not what they can do for you. And if you focus on what somebody can do for you, then is that transactional? Is that what you're looking for? So you're not going to get authentic a relationship, and it goes both ways. But men going for education is just to get more money to have a family per se. But in reality, there are some men are hurting in a way because not a lot of men have a lot of father figures in their lives and stuff like that. So I don't think they was taught in that particular way. They probably just heard through word of mouth when it comes to that type of stuff. But as for ladies, by you getting your education, which like I say, I'm not mad about that. And speaking of that, when people come out and say a man don't care about your education, they saying it in a way that your qualities, as for if your education is the only thing that you can bring to the table and it doesn't benefit him in the sense of household duties, then your education don't mean nothing to him. Not to say that your education be great. It's just that when it comes to that, there's a certain attitude that comes behind that, especially if you're a business owner and stuff like that, because there's certain hats that you can put on and cannot take off. And some women and men don't know how to take those hats off. And when it comes to coming together, dating or whatnot, even with a child and stuff like that, one thing is lacking is communication. And I know I took speech classes growing up, but speech classes does not help you when it comes to communicating with others. And I think a lot of people have a false way of communicating and a false way of compromising. And with all that being said, let me let Antoine DeMello jump in before I get too winded.
I think it's too late for that. Let's just
My bad.
now, I would say as far as the education part of it, yeah, it's not the education itself. I think it's the attitude that comes with it. Because the the economy of the nation, it matters. It's a big factor in can a single income support the household or not, right? And depending on the lifestyle that a woman feels as though she deserves. And I'm not going to tell anyone what they think or what their lifestyle should be or what they believe they deserve, right? I'm not going to do that. Everyone has a right to that. Uh, what it is, are you a person that someone that can provide that lifestyle? Are you meeting the prerequisites for someone like that? Right? So if you've got an education and a bad attitude to go with it, more than likely, no, you're gonna have to do that stuff for yourself. So if you wake up and you say, you know what, I don't mind doing that for myself, okay, then all power to you. I'm not gonna fault you for that, right? If you feel as though others cannot provide what you believe you deserve and you can do for yourself, go with it. But now you are entering the world of men, and no one provides for a man. A man is meant to provide for himself and his family, right? Men are born strong and independent until they show otherwise. Once a woman declares she's strong and independent, she now has to live the world of a man, where she now has to provide for herself, defend herself. When it comes to, women and children first, hey, you're staying back with the men because you've declared yourself to take on the persona of a strong and independent, right?
Yeah. Can I push
So,
back on that for a second?
yeah,
I'm not attacking what you're saying. Men born strong, independent. But what if?
until they prove otherwise.
All right. But what if they grew up in a single household, mom, and the mom and sisters do everything for them, and the expectation when they find somebody, date somebody, they want the same thing. Like, hey, whatever my mom and sister does, I need you to do that. And some women not going for that. And some women don't look at that as a man being strong and independent.
Well, I don't care what the women look at it in defining strong and independent.
Mm-hmm.
It's we define that, not women. Right? That's part of being the leadership, expectations on others and yourself. We define what those expectations are on us, and we define what those expectations are on them. Right? It's so if you're born in a household where there's not a strong male around, but there are dominant females, and yeah, you don't know any better, right? But once you're exposed to dominant men, you have to adapt to that. So you are, as a man, are born to lead until you prove otherwise. If you grew up in an environment where that was not taught to you, at some point, nature has to kick in. Right? At some point, it does. At some point, you've got to realize, okay, this is not normal. And you've got to come in line with normalcy, so to speak. But that's how I look at it. There's something within us men that has to show male leadership and in those leadership traits in the household and in the community.
All right. When it comes to dating, how can a man show? All right, I'm gonna reverse it. How can a woman find out if a man has some type of leadership in him that could lead their household?
I mean, it can be as simple as, does he have a vision for the future in which he's working at? Or is he just living life on a limb, just like, hey, I'm just living day to day? Is he working at something? Right?
See,
Does he have goals? Does he think beyond himself?
see, the way I go about telling my female friends, at least, my female friends is, I say, listen to what a man says and watch the action that follows. If he talk a lot of stuff and no action behind it, then you know what you're up against. But I also go for you too. You can't say one thing, or you could say things you're not going to do and expect a man, well, why am I with you then? But most times I say, listen to what a man says. Talk little. Listen to what he says. Let's see if his action follows. And that right there lets you know if he legit on what he's saying. Because if he come out always making excuses then it ain't gonna work out. And to your point, if you have goals, you have a goal, you got steps to make it to that goal. Listen to his steps to get to his goal. And it goes both ways. That's usually what I tell my female friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And stuff. So the other thing I used to tell them too when it comes to dating is, the question of the day is, what do a woman bring to the table? I know it's, ooh, man, girls get upset when they hear that. That's because they don't have nothing to say. They don't have nothing to offer for that time. But what I do tell them is this. You need to find out what need to be brought to the table. And from there, that's what you do. But here's the other caveat to that. When I'm saying that, doesn't mean find out what he likes and what he don't like, what he interested in. Because most people would turn to chameleons to be with what there is that you like, for they could be with you. Right? And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna go both sides with it. A feminine woman. Most women believe they're feminine until they get triggered. Once they get triggered, their femininity is out the window. Now, what do I mean by that? To break that down is basically saying that, yes, you all nice, sweet, cute, and cuddly. And to the point he say something crazy and you like, and you're already snapping back. I'm not saying you can't snap back. It's just a certain way how you're going about talking back to him to get your point across. If you have to raise your voice or you get upset to a point where you got to put hands on somebody, you're not really that feminine. That's just from my perspective.
I say there's different levels to that.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree.
There is some situations where I am on board or in favor of a woman defending herself, because along those lines, I also do not want a docile, weak woman either. Mm-hmm. Right? I do not want a woman that's going to sit in the corner.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I want someone to contribute, because the way the roles work, right, is when the man is away providing for the family, the woman is the last line of defense with the kids, right? So I also don't want something that's weak. I want someone that can hold her own. I just want a woman that respects the male leadership. That's it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to take her rights away.
But when you say that, you have to kind of break that down. Maybe we could break that down in another video, but we have to break that down, because just saying it in general and showing and display what that is, we got to, I guess the best way to say, we got to find some tangible about it, because anybody could just say that,
Yeah, earning that respect as a man.
Yes.
But the woman also has to be empowered that when the man does not earn the respect, she walks away from it.
I agree.
Because if she is to honor and respect male leadership, it has to be there and operating as it should, and not some weird dude who just wants to yell all day and talk all day, no actions, and wants to beat on his wife or girlfriend or whatever it is. That's not male leadership. So at the same time, she has to have the ability to walk away when that leadership is not present.
I agree.
Because we can't talk as though men are perfect.
Hell no.
Right? Either side have their imperfections. So you got to have an out when that perfection. I don't want to say perfect 100% of the time, but by God, it has to be at least 70%.
Yeah. And say I want to talk more on that, but I also want to lead off with saying that we also got to try to define. I ain't gonna say define because it's loose. It's loose. But I guess for women's sake or men's sake, whatever kids would be, as alpha male, beta male, and all in between and stuff like that, leading with your wallet or leading with your heart or lead with a principle in mind of how you want to conduct your household and stuff like that. So I definitely want to dive into that. It's definitely maybe in the next video and stuff like that. But I do want to end off with this note here. Now, what I mean about what you're saying, a strong woman, let's say if I gave a lady a task, right? I say, hey, let me just use this as a scenario. A guy at work, he's always working, so like he come home and he say, "Babe, figure out something what you want to eat," right? And she come back and say,
Wait, say it again. Who's at work and who's at home?
let's say the male at home. Let's just say, yeah, the male is working, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they both had a good day. I'm not saying a woman is at home. I'm gonna say a woman is working. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
So both the man and the woman are working.
Both men and women working, right?
Okay.
Food need to be cooked. He's like, "Babe, what we eating tonight?" And she said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, you know what? Fine. Just pick something to eat. Well, because we go out and get something to eat." And she asked him, "What do you want to eat?" And let's say he snapped, right? Damn. All I ask for you to do is pick something to eat, and you asking me all these damn questions, man. What are you doing? Why you just can't find something for us to eat and stuff like that? Now, if he snap off saying something crazy like that, then saying, "Hey, you may be incompetent to figure out what we want to eat," that's all I'm asking you to do. Don't ask me any questions because I'm tired of answering questions. I've been answering questions all day. So, in my opinion, most women probably snap back, right? With some type of, I don't know. Most women will snap back. Some other women be like, "What? Well, you know what? I apologize that you had a rough day today." It's understandable, but I understand you choose me to find something to eat, but there's no need for you to snap back at me because I'm just trying to find what you have a taste for. But here's the thing: if I pick something and you don't like it, I'm not trying to hear no talk back from you, man. I'm just saying there's a softer way of going by handling it instead of snapping off at the mouth. You know
So
what I'm
here's
saying?
what you're saying, right? Here's what you're saying. You are given the excuse for one side to some way lose their cool, and you're providing an excuse for the other side, or you're not giving an excuse for the other side to also lose their cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if a question is posed, what do you want to eat? And the other person say, well, I don't know, what do you want to eat? That is two individuals who do not know what they want to eat.
I know.
Right? So that is two individuals who are indecisive in that decision making. If one gets irritated by that, the other one, yeah, it shouldn't go into a full blown argument. But if you're snapping at me, I don't want a woman who's just going to take that on the chin, right? Because if you're talking about leadership and maturity, the man is supposed to be like, hey, I really don't know what I want to eat, but if you choose, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
And a woman might respond, like, you know what? I feel like eating some barbecue. What do you think about that? Yeah, I like barbecue.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it. But
hold on. But to say the man is allowed to snap at her by saying, I don't know what I want to eat. You chose what I eat. I'm not putting you in it. And then when she responds to that, then you're saying, well, she's not feminine. That's kind of wrong. Right.
Well, here's the thing. We got to hear how the response is, though, because I can't do it for a woman. But we got to see how the response is.
Hold on. Remember, we got to remember both sides are imperfect.
Yes, I agree with you.
Is in the wrong for losing his cool on something so simple, right? All you have to say is just to say, I really don't know. You choose, or you pick 5 options, and then we can go from there. But to just snap and say, I don't know, I'm putting it on you, why you got to put it back on me, that is also wrong. If you're going off of the leadership perspective.
Can I say something now?
Go ahead.
Now, with all that being said, I do not disagree with you, but we have to put things. I guess we have to find videos of example of finding out. All right, what's a better way? Now you say what's a better way to respond, because anybody could look back at things and say, yeah, that's a better way to respond, or they shouldn't respond, because everything's based off of context and the feelings at that particular time. But what I'm saying is, but most of the time, not most of the time, excuse me, I don't want to say that. What I'm saying at the end of the day is people, whatever level they may be in, let's say if he had a hard day at work over there, I agree with you. He shouldn't even say that at all. But it happens. It happens. The degree of how somebody feel at that particular time it happens.
Goes both ways, though.
I agree
Both
100%.
both individuals can have had a hard day at work and also on the edge. Once you open that door, how someone chooses to enter that door, you cannot fault them because you're the one that opened that door with your response.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because from that scenario, you're basically saying one can have a bad day at work and act as such, but the other cannot.
I'm also saying that too. That possibly can happen too. Yeah,
and that is not femininity versus masculinity. That is just controlling your emotions.
Well, I'm also using that in the context of if a man or a woman get upset at a certain situation, and the other one, the significant other, trying to calm them down. The person who's thinking, I ain't gonna say the person who's thinking clearly. Somebody got to calm somebody down. Depends on the situation. Don't know what the situation is, but it does happen. If I could try to create a scenario, it may not justify it, but sometimes you got to see things in action because, like I say, somebody can get upset just by a person stepping on their shoes and go up to all the way to 100 and be like,
those are ignorant ass people.
I agree, but you cannot say it doesn't happen.
Of course.
That's what I'm talking about. Certain scenarios like that it shouldn't happen, but it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's going back to what I'm saying about how if you walking with your lady and you seen a woman, like I said, we'll probably talk about this too, getting robbed or getting abused by another guy. Do you step in or do you not step in? You know what I'm saying? Some people say, yeah, I step in. Some people say, no, I ain't stepping in for whatever reason. And then next, you got the outside people saying, that person, he's not a man, he's not this. Yeah, you'll say that because you're not in that scenario. You see what I'm saying? Everybody got something to say when they're not in that scenario, or when they're in that scenario, they'll say, oh, I would do this and this and this. But once again, you won't do that stuff because when it's a split second decision when it comes to doing certain things, you'll make your mind up right then and there.
And it also depends on the community, right? Because it's like if one person is doing something wrong or committed an immoral or unethical act or a criminal act.
Yeah.
If one person is doing that and you've got like 10 people sitting around watching it, and then one person decides to stop it, and then it doesn't turn out well for that Good Samaritan, what are the other 9 individuals doing?
Mm-hmm.
That determines how the community is going to act. But if I step up to help someone, and I know 9 other individuals are not going to do anything, I'm just going to become another victim, then more than likely I'm going to assess the situation and I'm probably not going to do anything. Right? We're living in a place now where individually you've got to be able to defend yourself. Because if I go down, who's going to take care of my family? Exactly. But we don't have the community where that happens. We don't have a community where if I go down, I've got a bunch of people who's going to step in and take care of my family. Therefore, I've got to assess that and analyze that and say, you know what? No, because I am it for my family.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If I go down, all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
And anything can happen. You know what I mean? The person get a good shot, or you can look into your right and it's coming from your left.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday, anything can happen. So you have to assess that and what's the risk.
Yeah, I agree. But like I said, we're gonna dive more about that on I ain't say the next video, but we will be touching it. So any last remarks?
Let's get it.
All right, now like and subscribe, and I appreciate you watching. And leave a comment, man. It's stuff that y'all put in the comment, man, will help us out tremendously for us to talk about different subjects, different things that y'all want to talk about. And also, if you want to join us sometime and have different discussions, man, holler back us, send us an email, and we'll get back with you and we'll set it up. Thank you very much.